Okay, so welcome back to another tutorial. Now, in the previous few tutorials, we talked about how to make certain decisions while we have a number of choices. And from this and the next or three tutorials, I guess we'll be dealing with something called as loops. Now, what is a loop? A loop is basically a given set of statements or a block repeated a number of times. So, say you want to display numbers from 1 to 10 or characters from A to Z. So, you will not actually write, uh, or 26 printf statements for displaying A to Z. There has to be a much simpler way of doing that, and that is where the concept of loops come in. Now, C basically has three loops: the for loop, while loop, and the do while loop. And in this one, we'll be dealing with the for loop. So, let's get started. The basic syntax of a for loop is this: we have for followed by a bracket and a block, right? And here we have something called as the initialization, then we have a semicolon, then we have the condition, then we have a semicolon again, and we have something called as updation or incrementation, right? So that is the for loop in its most minimal form. Now we don't actually write these words here because they are not keywords. We write whatever the numbers we are dealing with, right? So let's say we want to print numbers from 1 to 10. So how will we do that? So we'll just take a loop variable, something called as a loop variable. Now what is a loop variable? Basically we need to determine the number of times we need to run a particular loop, right? So let's say if we want to display numbers from 1 to 10, so we need to make the loop run 10 times. So in every single run we'll check the value of I, and once it reaches 10 we'll stop. So this is basically sort of a counter which will monitor the number of times our loop runs. So let's say we start with 0 and we want to go till 10. So if you want to go till 10, we'll have to make it equal to 10 or we'll have to make it less than 11. Either way, equal to 10 sounds good to me. And we'll have to add 1 to i's value. Now if you guys remember, this is the unary plus operator which I told you guys in the operators tutorial, right? So what this basically means is that whatever is there between this block will run 10 times. It will start from 0 and it will go till 10. So basically it will run 11 times, right? 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 10. So we simply need to print the numbers. So we'll just go ahead and we'll display the value of I. So we'll just add a tab in there and we'll simply display the value of I, because the value of I will start from 0 in the first case. Let me quickly explain you the flow of the loop. So when the program reaches the for loop, first it goes to the initialization part. So it initializes the value of I to 0, or it assigns 0 to the I value, and then the next step is the condition check. So it checks for the condition: is the value of I less than or equal to 10? The value of I is 0 and 0 is indeed less than or equal to 10. So if the condition is true, it goes to the loop body or the block and it displays the value of I. Now once it's done displaying the value of I, it goes to the updation part here and it will update the value of I with 1. So now the value of I is 1. The next step, again it goes to the condition check. So what this means is that the initialization takes place only once at the beginning of the loop. Now the value of I is 1 and 1 is again less than or equal to 10. Condition is true, it will again execute the body. It will again go to the updation. The value of I is 2 in this time. Then again 2 is less than or equal to 10. So again this body will be executed and it will go on till the value of I reaches 10. Now once we are on 10, 10 plus plus will mean that the value of I is 11, and now this time when it checks the condition, the value of I is not less than or equal to 10, which means the condition is false. So now what it will do is it will transfer the control to the line following the ending block, right? So it will basically transfer the control here, and since there is nothing here, the code will exit. So that's what this piece of code does. It repeats this particular line, the printing of I, 11 times. So let's go ahead and see what the output we get. Okay, so we get 0, 1, 2, 3, all the numbers right to 10, and that is exactly what we intended to do. So you can see how easy it is than writing 11 printf statements. You can just do it in one single line. So that is what the for loop looks like. Again, there is no limit to for loops. You can have for loops inside a for loop, which is called nesting. Basically a loop inside a loop is called nesting. So what will happen is that the inner loop will run. Let's say we have another variable j and we have it less than 4. Oh sorry, j plus plus here. And if we have the j block and if we print the value of I inside j, what will happen is that for every value of I, that is when the I is 0, j will run 4 times. Then when I is 1, j will again run 4 times. So this loop will basically run 11 into 4, that is 44 times. It will print alternate values, right? So it will basically print I value 4 times, then it will print which means it will print 0 4 times, then it will print 1 4 times, and so on. So let's actually go ahead and see this as well, so that you guys have a clear idea of whatever I'm saying. So there you go, as you can see we have 4 zeros, 4 ones, 4 twos, and so on until 4 tens, right? So basically this nested loop ran every time, like 4 times for every I value. So that's what nesting of loops looks like. We do use this in arrays, which we'll be dealing with in the next section. So again, this is the for loop of for initialization, condition, and updation. You can even have decrement here, right? There is no such thing as only incrementation or something. You can have anything. You can have I is equal to I divided by 2, or any other modification which you want to make, right? So that's all about the for loop that I have for you guys. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.